I've been with the district for 6 years. I am a business education teacher. Started through the middle school as a long-term sub for industrial tech. Okay. I worked there for a year, and I've been here for the last 5. I grew up in St. Louis, and then I moved. My parents divorced when I was young, and I moved to Mississippi, and I went to a Catholic school, Immaculate Conception Catholic school. Moved back to St. Louis where my mother passed away when I was 10. And I went to Ford Middle School. After Ford Middle School, went to Southwest High School, Longhorns, and I graduated from there, went to MU. I got a degree in hotel restaurant management, and worked in restaurants for about 20 years. I even had my own place here in town for a while, Irwin's Cafe. It was in the same spot as the Heartbeat, down at the corner of 8th and Main. I got my degree, my MBA from the University of Phoenix, and then my MAT, Master's of Art in Teaching from Central Missouri State. And I'm currently going back for my administration degree, administration certification at Pitt State. We had decided to close the restaurant, just too many hours, not enough money, and paying the bills just wasn't enough. So we had to do something different. And they said, you ought to try teaching. You'll make a good teacher. And I said, I don't know. I hemmed and hawed around the idea, and I was like, I don't think I could do it. And they said, well, give it a try. Try being a substitute, and if you like it, there you go. And I signed up to be a substitute. I got called in the day before school starts for a position that went vacant at the middle school. And I tell you, it took me 20-some years to come to the job where I was supposed to be. I mean, I love teaching. I can't see myself doing anything else. And I'm kicking myself for taking a long way around. GHS is a great unknown secret in this part of town, in the Kansas City area. A lot of folks have a negative thought about Grandview, but our students always excel. And I mean, I've taken our students to competitions, and we shine. I work with the Missouri Council on Economic Education, and they said, hey, Mr. Fields, we have this opportunity where we have folks go back and forth to South Africa. Would you like to fill out an application? I was like, why, sure. Yeah. And they put me in touch with the council, the National Council on Economic Education, and it took a while. It was like a 2.5-month waiting period, and they got back with us on April 16th this year and said, you've been selected. And they go through, you have to write an essay and have letters of recommendation and things of that nature. So it's pretty extensive. What I learned, first of all, about the students was students are teenagers no matter where they are. One of the photos I took was of a young lady eating hot chips, and I thought that was really funny. I had to have the picture. But I also understood how what's most important can be the one thing that's set aside, and that's the students and their education. And I saw lots of instances where they talked about how much money they were spending and things that they were doing, but they did not trickle down to the classroom or to the student. There was one building that was at the Department of Education in South Africa, beautiful science lab where hands-on learning can take place, experiments right there, and I mean state of the art. But there's no busing. There are no buses. So how would the students get there to take advantage of this? So it was things like that where the attempt is being made, but it falls far short of the student, and the most important asset is being left behind. My expectations were that we were going to see a really impoverished area, and we did. I mean, there were a lot of areas, especially in the Soweto area, where it was very impoverished. I mean, there was, places that looked like trash dumps and landfills, and they were like, oh, no, people live there. And that was shocking. But on the flip side, there was extreme wealth as well. So I mean, the middle class is very small, but it's emerging. But the wealth that I saw, I mean, it rivals our own. The main thing I would have to say is the uniforms. Students come in and they're dressed, ready for work. As poor as they may be, some students walk to school barefoot so as not to wear out their shoes, so that they have a clean pair of shoes to wear. They may not have been as clean as they could have been, but the uniforms were all pressed and every piece was accounted for. So they came prepared and dressed for the occasion. The respect for the teacher, not to say that our students don't have respect, but it's a different mentality. When you think of school as a privilege, and their education is a right under the Constitution, when you think of it as a right, I demand my rights. I know I have a right to an education, and I want it. So that's what's different. I would have to say the main thing that I've brought back is a global perspective, and to see that, you know, this world is really not that big, or at least it's shrinking quite fast. And you know, I really want my students to understand that they are competing with folks, you know, 6,000 miles or 12,000 miles away. You're competing with these folks, and if you're not doing your part, if you're not taking it seriously, you're going to look up and see that they passed you. And so that's the important thing, that we have to make sure that we stay vigilant, because if we let our guard down at any bit, you know, we will fall short, and our education system will be the one that they're looking at and saying, hey, this is what needs to be changed with them.
Absolutely. So is this the kind of trip you would make again?
Oh, in a heartbeat. If I got the call right now, I would pick the phone up and say, yes, I'll be there.
Excellent. Okay. That's all I got.
All right, appreciate it.